Welcome back to another episode of Talk Mode. I'm your host Wahab, and today we're going to be talking about, well, in fact, we're going to be continuing our conversation regarding the big cull from last week and answering a listener question. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Talk Mode. As mentioned in the intro, we're going to be looking at continuing our conversation regarding the big call. So, if you listened to last week's episode, and if not, I'd recommend you go back and listen to that. Um, we talked about culling a whole load of things out of your life. We focused mainly in the digital area of things, but there's also physical things that you can call out of your life. That's, subscriptions, etc., etc., both financially and just things that take your attention away from other things that you're supposed to be focused on. And as I've mentioned before, this is an ongoing journey for me. I'm just sharing my current journey with you. So it's ever evolving, and I recorded last week's episode and then thought about more ideas or started working on more things that I'm trying to cull. So one of those things that I actually realized is quite a big thing. Um, let's take work emails. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty disciplined with in my emails in my day-to-day job, right? Get very organized, uh, put everything in folders that it's supposed to be, whether it's by client, etc., etc. And then the stuff that sits in my main inbox is stuff that I need to action or I need to read or something needs to happen with it. But then you go and look at my personal inbox, just my normal email address. And I want to say there's about 30,000 unread emails just lying around in the inbox. Nothing's in folders. I literally check my emails and I grab the odd one that I need to read and I actually read it. And I realized that the big, like, why am I not prioritizing my personal inbox and being organized with my personal stuff, but I am organized when it comes to my work? So I thought, well, this is something that I can do. Now, how does that relate into the culling? Well, we tend to give our email addresses out every time we buy something online or we sign up to some sort of website or whatever. And historically, I've not been very good about unticking the don't send me any promotions boxes. Um, and that basically means I get a lot of emails from a lot of different companies for a lot of different things. So what I started to do, and this is a work in progress, because as I said, there's like good 30, 40,000 unread emails, so it's going to take a while. But what I started to do is starting to unsubscribe from all these mailing lists and then search the company and delete all the emails I can find, because ultimately there are companies in there that I probably haven't shopped with for a few years, yet I still get emails from them all the time. So I'm trying to get a little bit better with that, organize that, and clear that out. Another uh, thing that sort of you can call from your all the times that you're wasting is all the attention you're given to is like, oh, clear up your favorites and that kind of thing. Not that I particularly sit there and click on my favorites, but like I've got favorites that I set in my favorites like 3 years ago because I was interested in a particular article or stuff like that. It's the same thing as my YouTube to watch list or my Netflix to watch list. Is that something I was interested in at one point? I added it in the to watch list or added it to my favorites and then walked away from it. Never ended up watching it. And now I'm not interested anymore. But it's all still sitting there. It's all just noise and mess that doesn't need to be there. Same as the email subscriptions. Like let's optimize our environment so that the stuff that is there is stuff that's valuable to us today and we'll be interested in it today. And yeah, that's just an additional thought on top of all the stuff we talked about last week. Um, but this is going to be an ever evolving conversation because I'm going to keep coming up with new things that I want to change or improve. And every time I do, I intend to share that with you. And hopefully you find that valuable. Now, talking about yourselves, we actually got a question regarding this last episode that we recorded last week regarding the culling. And we got a question from Dia on YouTube to say, the other side of the culling coin, in quotation marks, is what you fill the gaps with. To curate your environment with things that better align with your current values, goals, mindsets, etc. Will be interesting to hear your thoughts around what new things you want to bring into the frame this year. And you know what? That puts me on to a really good topic. It's something that I wanted to bring in, but I want to thank you guys for listening and giving questions like this. And if you want to leave us a comment, and please go ahead and leave us a comment on YouTube if you listen to the podcast there. And even if you don't, you can go to YouTube, search for Harbour Originals or Talk Mode, and find the podcast there and leave comments on the episode if you so wish. But let's address that. That was going to be an episode that we did, and we might as well pile it in here. So I talked about last week, attention is your number one asset, and therefore you should only be paying attention to things that are going to benefit you. we we're doing this whole optimizing our environment by culling out subscriptions and all these extra things that take our attention away from the things that we could be focusing in on. But that leaves us with a gap of time, right? And that's what Dia's alluding to there. So what we're gonna fill that time with? So me personally, this year, I already read a fair bit, as you would have noticed from all the book reviews. But this year I've kind of set myself the task of reading more non-fiction, self-help and self-improvement business books is what I'm intending to do here. So at the moment, the most recent book I read is How to Win Friends and Influence People, and you'll be receiving uh, a book review on that very soon. Um, but yeah, we're working on some other books. Obviously, did Atomic Habits, which you would have heard the review on that a few days ago, or last week. That would have been. And yeah, there's I've got a few more books that are on that list. Currently reading The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Um, only just getting into that book, first couple of pages. So I'll let you know how that goes, and there'll be a review for that. So that's one thing. I'm also trying to fill a bit more time focusing in on my health. So spend more time working out, going to the gym, etc. Spend more time outside. We spend uh, I work a traditional 9 to 5 job, so I'm spending 8 hours in front of a screen. And then my hobbies are gaming, uh, watching TV series, watching movies. Again, more hours in front of the screen. Something happens, I want to spend some bit of time on social media, more hours in front of a screen. And now I'm sitting here editing this episode, and that's more hours in front of a screen. So, uh, what we need to spend some time away from a damn screen. So by optimizing all these things and avoiding the doom scroll, I spend more time going for a little walk, taking in the fresh air, that kind of thing. And hopefully, over the year, as I try new things and develop new habits, I'll find some new hobbies that will be a bit more versatile compared to what I currently do. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm trying to fill my time in with. This is what I'm making time for, to improve, to learn, to develop new skills. That is the aim. I want to thank you guys very much for joining me today and listening to my thoughts. Let me know what you think about the big cull and what are you currently working on culling out in your life. Take care, guys. I'll see you next week.